Hello and welcome to session 17 of the White March edition of my Pillars of Eternity Lorethrough. This is being recorded on November 19th, 2023, immediately after I recorded the last session. So we talked with Derek last time, found out that he was, well, he's the commander of the Ransard army here. We found out that he was a watcher, that he had also seen visions of an army coming to attack, the same visions we had. He thought it was the Deerwood, so he wanted to overtake the battery as a way to defend himself, but upon talking with me, he realized that it wasn't the Deerwood he had to worry about. So we are hopefully going to be working together now. He did leave and allow me to free the stalwart delegates. So that is where we are now, and we're going to start with that. First, I'll look around a little bit, and then we'll free the delegates.
And the fire shows me something new.
Glenfathan Customs, already have that. I already read it, I mean. Broad Belt of Power. St. Widewind, Farmer Become God, we have read that. All right, let's free him. Dwarven delegate. Oh, thank you. I thought we'd never get out of there. Are you hurt? No, a little bruised, perhaps. The cold was the worst part. I don't know how you managed to talk that man down. He was practically foaming at the mouth. It's a frightened delegate. And the Dwarven delegate says, and now he and his men are still skulking around the mountains. I'm not sure letting him live was the best idea. The commander wasn't the problem, says the gruff delegate. One of the delegates points an accusing finger at another, a woman standing apart from the rest. The gruff delegate says, we might have come to terms if she hadn't goaded him, shouting at him about omens and curses, demanding he leave the march. You know how superstitious the Red Sarens are. The commander went white as a sheet. She sabotaged the meeting. The woman in question is dressed in unassuming robes. She bears the accusation silently, her eyes closed, as if in prayer. Who are you? With desperate speed, the woman suddenly lunges sidelong towards a nearby rack and seizes a dagger lying there. She sets the blade to her own throat. Okay. A raving delegate. Unseen to all but yourself, the dying woman's soul essence coils in thin wisps about her body. It only grows brighter as her corpse stills. The remaining delegates stare in horror at her pooling blood. What just happened? Damn it! I will never get an answer out of her. Read the woman's soul. You reach out and brace against the sudden flare of pain and fear, digging after less recent events. There is a copper taste in your mouth and a pain like fire in your throat. Under the brute terror of death, you find a comforting thread of resolve, of satisfaction, in a duty fulfilled. You follow it. It leads you stumbling into another memory as whole and vivid as the first. You walk the dark halls of an abbey, dimly lit and quiet, your footsteps loud, a blur, and you are standing in a dimly lit room facing a robed Aumaua. You recognize him as Kyoto, the High Abbot. He beckons you forward. Examine your surroundings. You're in a wide, rounded chamber. The tiles beneath your feet are covered in strange, curling symbols. You recognize them as symbols of Andra, goddess of sea and memory. The memory blurs. When your sight is clear, you are standing in front of Kyoto, and he is smiling gently down at you.
Drive the raid Sarens from these mountains, and you may yet spare many lives. The Tidebringer will be here in a week's time. Should you be delayed in your travels, report to him as you would to me. He will enter the reliquary and call off the army of Eyeless in my stead.
Okay, so first of all, the Tidebringer is a name that we have not heard before, nor have we heard High Abbot Kyoto. And then the army of the Eyeless. The last time we heard the Eyeless, I believe, was when we were exploring Durgan's battery and seeing what had happened 200 years ago. The Eyeless is what they referred to as the group that was attacking them. So it seems they are back.
If you are caught, sister, you know what you must do.
He sets a...
We'll pray for your return, but we will take comfort in the knowledge that you have joined the rest of Andra's favorite in her keeping.
The words jar you loose from the memory, flinging you back into the moment of the woman's death, and then into your own skin. But traces of her memory join yours, and you know the path to the Abbey to which she was to return, buried in the mountains to the north. Okay, so that's why she killed herself, because she was caught. She was supposed to drive the Red Sarens from the mountains. She failed, and when we questioned her, she ran and killed herself. Is the name Eyeless familiar to anyone? The gruff delegate says, The Eyeless? They're a figure of speech for when you can't remember something. You say, must be the Eyeless took it from me. Yes, but there is a story to it. They're supposed to do the bidding of the Lady of Lament, who is Andra. Andra points, and they come, out of nowhere, wipe things from the face of the world. That's why whenever something up and goes missing or gets destroyed with no one there to see it, you're supposed to thank Andra that the Eyeless didn't come for you, too. Do you know Kyoto? Kyoto? Oh, yes. He came through town some time back, stopped by at the temple in Stalwart. This was just after the town decided to rededicate it to Abdon. He didn't seem pleased about it. He was dressed like a priest. Maybe he took offense. He's now Mao, a tall fellow, very polite, considering he's apparently the leader of some fanatical sect. Fanatical sect dedicated to Andra, it appears. I think it's clear we haven't been the best judge of characters recently. Do any of you know what a Tidebringer is? Tidebringer? That's something they used to talk about at the Temple of Andra, I think. It's a person, a title, I mean. Tends to be used more in devout circles. What about the Eyeless? Have you heard of them? I already asked that. Do you know anything about an abbey to the north? I've heard of something like that. An Andrite stronghold? Not the kind of place that welcomes visitors. Was that where she came from? The delegates point to the dead woman. Yes, and it's where I'll find the reliquary so I can call off their army. What? Another one? Gods, feels like everyone in Aoria is after the battery now. Why would these Andrites want the Red Sarens out? I doubt it's for Stalwart's benefit. Competition, maybe? Looks like I've fouled up their plans in any case. If you do mean to go to this abbey, be careful. There have been stories about traders wandering north and getting scared off or even killed by strange guards. They're a secretive bunch. I suppose you could always try to sneak in? I doubt you'll be welcome otherwise. It sounds like this Tidebringer would be. Welcome, I mean. Maybe I can convince them I'm the one they've been waiting for. I hope so. I imagine the Abbey is heavily guarded. A sudden deafening crash from outside makes the delegate jump, startled. A rumbling like thunder follows. You hear further sounds of smashing timbers, panicked screaming. Gods have mercy. What is it now? Stay put. I'll take care of it. Yes, well, we'll wait here, inside. Investigate the commotion. Whoa. These the Eyeless. Yep, Eyeless hammer. Both Eyeless hammers. By the stars, what is that? Alright, let's go get him.
By all the stars, what is that?
Let's see. It's immune. It's not immune to frightened. Maybe now I can start frightening.
this!
See if that works. It is frightened.
Can't get a good shot with it.
You're not getting through me.
Oh man.
Mow it. This.
He would die before endurance went down.
That's the
So those are the things that attacked the battery centuries ago. As the last of the mage folk falls, a tide of essence sweeps through the ether. It washes over you, and you find yourself in the memories of the Eyeless. We see them up here. The hulking creatures surround you, their sinew-wrapped skeletons clanking and screeching in the semi-darkness. Their bodies fill the air with the tang of metal and the musk of sweat. The cavern in which you stand, it looks like a cavern anyway, glows with a dim, ambient light. Steel flashes as the Eyeless shift and stir. They stamp their feet and groan in rasping metallic voices. Their restless energy prickles at the back of your neck. And in the echoing rumble, you hear something familiar. It's the pounding noise from your dream, the harbinger of a terrible army. You begin to wonder how many Eyeless are crowded around you. You suspect there must be scores of them, maybe more. It's difficult to tell how far back this chamber goes, or where it is. Ahead of you, you see a glint of light. It must be an exit. Already, however, the vision is starting to fade. Explore further into the chamber. You push past the lumbering Eyeless and cling to the wilting shreds of the vision. The cavern broadens before you. It swells with echoes until you hear the growling, grinding sounds of the Eyeless all around. You pull yourself into a glowing, crystalline outcropping and survey the expanse of blunt heads and piston arms. There aren't scores of them. There are hundreds. The vision ends, returning you to the frozen and blood-churned mud of the fort. Derek appears to have taken some blows. There's a purpling bruise along his temple and his armor is dented in several places. He looks rather dazed.
Those things, they came from all sides. The delegate... No, you were right. The visions are true.
Derek looks you over.
You fought well. And I'm glad to see you've come through in one piece. Not many of my men were so lucky. I'll take what's left of our forces. Those that will follow me further up the mountain. We should be prepared when those monsters return.
We can defeat them if we work together.
I have seen already that there is little you can't accomplish.
Adark bows his head and turns to the road. So I guess he's not going to join us.
These abominations stink of a god's cowardice.
All right, then.
Where are they? Alright, let's see if there is any bestiary entry for the Eyeless. The Eyeless are an ancient, mysterious mage folk, more widely known in myth than fact. With their grotesque build and their crude yet functional limbs, they vaguely resemble constructs, though their origins and purpose are unknown. They know neither hunger nor fatigue, making them singularly relentless foes. Popularly, Eyeless are said to serve Andra by seeing old or dangerous things forgotten. The peoples of the White March describe them as boogeymen that stalk old roads and secluded places. Parents warn their children not to forget their chores lest the Eyeless see them forgotten. And people who lose something traditionally thank Audra that the Eyeless did not come for them, too. So these are things that are mostly out of myth, but they come from fact. Alright, let's see if we can find where they are so I can loot them. Maybe they're in the fort. So I went through here peacefully. Killed a few guards, not many, but then they all died anyway. These cots have been recently washed. The dirt and mud beneath them is flecked with darker stains. You can see the water's dark surface not far below. Hey, we got a war pup. This plump, brindle-coated puppy already boasts a disciplined bearing, but only until someone spots something to play with. There they are. Just vessel flesh. So they are vessels, but then they're also constructs. So like a construct vessel hybrid. Interesting. Mangled wolfskins and straw provide the bedding of this kennel. All of it stinks of dog. The spigot in this cask exudes a thick chemical stench. This trebuchet is disassembled but intact.
See now what the flame has shown us?
Sapphire. Cloak. A letter home. My love, I have enclosed some coins from Stalwart, so you have proof that I arrived. You were right. I'm colder than I have ever been. All the more so for being away from you. The Kith here are as cold as their land. They do not hate us as the dear Woodens do, but they are mistrustful and proud. The commander has sent for delegates to start negotiations. Perhaps by the time this letter reaches you, we will have moved into Durgan's battery. Stalwart has no soldiers, only a handful of guards. Ephraim says he went to look at the battery with some scouts and did not see anyone posted atop the tower. Without those cannons, they would be foolish to do anything but surrender. If not, we're sure to knock the fight out of them quickly. The commander says that once the battery is ours, our presence here alone may be enough to make the invaders think twice. Who would face us with the might of the battery at our backs? I write too much of battle, but only to assure you that we are well. I miss you. The mountains are beautiful. I hold hope that you may see them for yourself once it's safe for you to join us. I guess that person didn't make it. That's sad. Hot pitch roils ominously within this deep cauldron.
I'll see what I can find.
A simple test.
I shall be discreet.
Few enterprising individuals have carved crude figures into the wooden logs of the latrine. Some Rautai cookies. Okay. So we mapped out inside the fort. Let's head outside. So these Eyeless are back after hundreds of years of being away. Wonder what has caused them to come back. And we have open now the Abbey of the Fallen Moon. That's where that delegate was that killed herself. I think that's all that's new. Yeah. Alright, looks like I got everything. It's so satisfying. Okay. Missing a little bit up here. Okay. Should we return to Stalwart first? Travel to the Abbey of the Fallen Moon. Find out how to call off the army. Alright, so I learned from her soul that she came from the Abbey of the Fallen Moon, and that the abbot there knows of the army and is able to call it off from a place he called the Reliquary. If I can reach the room, I may be able to stop an invasion before it begins. The abbot also mentioned someone called a Tidebringer would be coming to replace him. That information could prove useful in infiltrating the place. So there's a grave site, west gate, siege equipment, drill yard, command post, and kennels in the front gate. Alright, so it's time to go to the Abbey of the Fallen Moon. Let's see. Longbosh. A dwarf, clothed in but a few straps of fur, puffs up his barred chest with every drag from his pipe. Come a long way to get some air, have you? What are you doing here? Enjoying the fine weather. Just a bit longer. He smiles, letting a cloud of smoke and frosted breath escape through his teeth. My mistress had business with the Andrites. We'll be off, as soon as she's done at the Abbey. Meantime, I was told to stay put. They don't want any outsiders meandering about. She's already put some kind of hex on me. Says I won't even remember any of this. The copper's worth it. She says I'll wake up at home with a full coin purse, opposite of most of my mornings, so that has a certain appeal. Tell me about your mistress. Which one? He lets out a chuckle and slaps his chest. A reddening print blooms on his skin. Wish she were the fun kind. She's a gift bearer. Paid me well to guard her on her journey, though. Gift bearers are the followers of Andra who people give their gifts to so they can be thrown into the ocean to be forgotten about. I'm looking to get inside. Are you now? He pulls the pipe away from his clenched teeth and points his long stem to the path ahead. As far as I know, straight this way. The middle path on the right, with the ruined arch. If they let you in, of course. Andrites are none too friendly but to their own. My mistress went through the archway, spoke to some guards there, then headed on. He bites down on his pipe with a sour expression. They got eyes on the other paths, cast me dirty looks from afar when they pass this way. Grunts. As if I'd stand here in plain view if I had some grand design of sneaking into their blazing church. And what's an abbey got that's worth hiding anyway? Monks? Do you know of any other ways into the abbey? No, but it's an abbey, not a fortress. You can bet it's got holes, like any fat old monster. Supply passages, escape routes. He shrugs, as if it were a matter of course. I'd be lying if I said I'd never explored one uninvited when I was too young to know better. Helped myself to its relics. Let's say if certain war goddess has her way, I'll be living my next life as a dung roll bug. Why are you helping me? He shrugs. You got a look about you. Look like you need it. And maybe there's something I don't like about this place, like it's hiding something. My younger days, it'd be me going in there. Farewell. Doubt we'll meet again. Any luck. My mistress will return soon. Hope you find what you're looking for. Okay. He believes there are several ways inside the Abbey. He said his mistress spoke with some guards beneath a broken archway who let her through. Alright. So let's see if we can get in here.
Even our visitor is to be turned away, he said.
What interest would our quarters hold?
Our quarters aren't the worry. It's our brothers and sisters below.
Brothers and sisters below. Andrite Title Fist. Hold! Who's there? I was looking for the way out. You are trespassing here. Oh, man.
Join us!
Doing the job.
Didn't really want to do that. Andrite Paladin Helm. Helmets come in many forms, from the humble padded cap to fully enclosed steel great helms. Different cults. No, doesn't say anything specific to Andrites or Paladins. Mask? Nope. So they are wearing Andrite masks and helms.
And what does the flame reveal?
Man, this is everybody kind of knows we're here. See, I'm kind of surprised that you guys seem pretty difficult.
Death, take you now!
You're not getting...
I have a choice to make here. If every fight's gonna be like this, I don't know if I want to keep doing what I'm doing. Okay, so Got the next level of Twin Sting, which is the crossbow that Bjarta's using. And the second level, Dragon's Maw Shield, which is what Dare is using. I either need to deal 150 damage to prone enemies or 750 damage to any enemies. So, you know what? We did this. We're in. Let's deal with our mistakes. Should we actually deal with our mistakes?
Lay low. It's no trouble.
That's settled. Let's see what lies this way.
A mural is rendered on the face of the rock wall. 4 panels seem to be arranged as a story of some kind. Inspect the mural. First panel, Anthu, the end. Next panel, Siman, the flood. Wonder if this is like Defiance Bay. Third panel, Disamen, the ebb. Fourth panel, Dianthu, the beginning. So that seems to be the war in Defiance Bay when Andra's gift was flooded. Really quickly, I want to look at it again. Anthu, Saman, Disaman, Dianthu. Okay, so Dianthu and Anthu is beginning and end, and then Aman and Disaman. Okay.
I shall be quiet as a calm sea, which is not very quiet.
The door is sealed shut. There's a hell of a skeleton here. Whatever it is, something enormous. Oh, that's right. I want to.
Leave it.
So there's an entrance in. The structure behind this giant rib cage appears to have been built around it.
I'm on the trail.
Definitely want to map this whole area out so we can get a look at the skeleton in full.
That's it!
I'll take a look.
All right, then. Keeping an eye out.
Undisturbed by high winds above, a mist hides the depths of this chasm. Protruding from the side of the cliff, what appears to be a massive hip bone lies encased in a prison of rocks and ice. So we did not take the stealth route this time around. Undisturbed by the high winds above, a mist hides the depths of this chasm. Wonder if the long boss will be mad at us. Oh, he did say... He did say that he felt like people were up to no good in here. Undisturbed? No, I read that.
Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to
There it is. Kill 10 enemies with the... How do I kill 10 enemies with the Dragon's Maul shield? Do I have to bash? Guess I'll have to bash enemies that are near death in order to do that.
Laying low.
So some kind of leg bone here. Coppery sheen glistens under the layers of ice that cling around this giant femur with the colors of a rainbow. Yeah, this is where they came from before when everybody started attacking me the first time. Let's head down here.
Margaren's fire casts light in dark places.
Currents of wind bounce off the jagged rocks, rising to meet your face with a freezing touch. Anything open? No. Oh, that was a hell of a move there.
What?
Where's this shield bash? Speed average interrupts. So maybe it just does it automatically.
You're not getting through.
Margaren's fire casts light in dark places. Elon Billy.
Let's see if there's shield. Okay, so it must be passive because he's already got one. And also, oh no. Who else was that? Endurance. Alright, so I just gotta keep attacking. Getting there, but... And that nitrile mace is not great. Not easy anyway. So this looks like the secret way to enter. An angry wind whistles as it twists around the frozen fingers of this giant skeletal hand. So this... Oh, I already said this, so let's see what happens when he... You stand at the precipice of a fissure that time has torn into the mountain upon which the Abbey stands. Whistling winds call out from the depths of the crevasse, mournful wails hinting at the great descent from the edge into the dark and lonely spaces below. Encased in centuries of rime, a gargantuan skeletal hand hangs awkwardly above the gap. Its fingers are splayed in a pained pose, ice preserving the circumstances of the victim's death long after the flesh rotted away. With only the ominous moaning of the crevasse to disturb your thinking, you consider your options, inspect the area. Considering the span of the gap and the position of the skeletal hand, you believe a well-placed grappling hook would allow you to reach the other side. Though positioning the hook may be tricky, the winds are not so strong that they would endanger attempts to cross. With only the ominous moaning of the crevasse to disturb your thinking, you consider your options. Cast your grappling hook. The middle finger is a large target, but it sits in the midst of the buffeting winds that threaten to blow the rope and grapple off course. Whoever casts the grappling hook will need nimble fingers to ensure a good throw. As you ponder the difficulty of the throw, the wind momentarily abates, becoming a little more than eerie murmurs whispering far below you. Who will cast the hook? I think Sagani. Sagani dangles the grapple cautiously, waiting to release the rope during a lull in the gustling winds. During a quiet moment, Adair swings I think it's supposed to be Sagani. Sagani swings the grapple back and begins to rock the weight forward for a toss. Just before the release, a blast of air erupts from the crevasse. Sagani flinches, sending the grapple off course. It slams into the great skeletal ulna with a cracking sound that you can barely hear in the wind's howl. Sagani quickly spools the rope back up through the depths to recover the grapple. So, I need a dexterity of 18. Let's see. I feel like that was... There was some kind of glitch that might have happened there. Dexterity 14, 9, 11, 9, 15, 13. So let's try Aloth. Yeah, this is I don't know what the glitch is here. I need to have a dexterity of 18 in order to do this, though. Any food give me dex? It's 2 dexterity. Do I have a scroll, maybe? That ups my dexterity. Where are all my scrolls? Ah, here they are. Rite of Walking Shadows, Useful Spirits. That's athletics. Hidden Wonders, Ancient Let's Lore. Okay. Well, so we wouldn't have been able to do it anyway. Giant Skeletons, Ribcage, Halls of Presence, Passages of Andra, Halls of Silence. Oh, okay. Giant Skeleton's Leg. Well, let's just head up here. Go to where we probably would have ended up if we were able to throw the grappling hook.
I can do that. That's settled.
Yeah, I think this is where we would have ended up before. And we can see the arms, the rib cage, a leg of this giant skeleton, but we can't see its face yet. Probably have to enter the building in order to see the head. I don't know where we should go first. This is the Halls of Presence. Well, let's try here. Find out how to reach the reliquary.
Quietly now.
Alright. I think we're in for quite a few fights here. Where's that guy going? Is he going to get help?
That's not very helpful.
All right, then.
Brave. Death to our enemies.
Leave it to me.
And these guys are just going to get help, aren't they?
not. Back for my friend.
Jeez.
Not a sound.
I think these guys are bad guys, so I feel like it's kind of okay that we're doing this, but still. Okay, Monsters of the Deadfire Archipelago, Nostoc Poetry, The Sea and Her Love. I think that one's new. Traditional Andrite Hymn. The sea beheld her love, shining bright from the high. She bade him come down from his palace in the sky. Her love could not be swayed, so she took a peace into her heart, and all who saw her grief that day still sleep in her bosom still. This seems to be the myth of Andra calling the moon, being in love with the moon and calling it down, bringing the moon down. The open parenthesis here is the big one. Usually these, the first letter is like big and fancy, and this time it's a parenthesis, so that was kind of weird.
Slow and silent.
The Gift Bearer's Pilgrimage. A gift bearer of Andra is traveling along the road when she meets a man in tears holding a scrap of parchment. Why do you weep? Asks the gift bearer. I hold here a letter from my wife. I tried to be a good husband, but the letter says I was not, and that she has gone to seek the company of a better man. Now this is all that remains of her. Give the letter to me, then, says the gift bearer, for once you have forgotten the letter, your wife can cause you no further pain. The man gives her the letter and finds his tears have dried up. He thanks the gift bearer and leaves at peace. The gift bearer continues on, contemplating the man's story, but does not get far before she encounters an old woman in tears holding a string of beads. Why do you weep? Asks the gift bearer. I hold here a string of beads that counted the years of my daughter's life. Sickness took her while she was still a child, and she was denied the joys of a full life, and I the joys of a mother. This is all that remains of her. Give the beads to me, then, says the gift bearer, for once you have forgotten the beads, your daughter can truly rest. The old woman gives her the beads and finds her grief no longer gnaws at her soul. She thanks the gift bearer and leaves at peace. Thinking on the woman's pain, the gift bearer follows the road until she reaches the sea. In her hand she carries the letter and the beads. They are light in her hands, but heavy upon her heart, and she is crying. She prays to Andra to allow the objects to be forgotten, and cast them into the water. And yet, long after they have sunk beneath the waves, the gift-bearer finds herself still weeping. Merciful Andra, pleads the gift-bearer, in your service I have helped people forget their troubles. Yet though I pass them on to you, I feel them still as though they were mine. How can this be? The gift-bearer listens to the wisdom of the crashing waves until she understands. To feel the troubles of others in your soul is a burden itself. However, she has taken no token to give to Andra to bear it away, for the troubles are not hers to forget. I give myself to you then, says the gift-bearer, for once I am in your care, no memory may haunt me. And with that, the tide comes forth and embraces the gift-bearer, and when it ebbs, she is gone. So this whole idea of people giving their items to Andra so that things can be forgotten, it seems like it might be somewhat harmful. Andra did side with Skane and Remergon, I believe, when we were talking about the gods' favors. So it seems like there is a little bit of a nihilist streak to Andra, just like completely forgetting things. But in forgetting, do they also forget the love? I'm like in the good things that came with those memories. I'm unclear on that. Okay, I got something for reading that one. I found a book in the Abbey library, The Gift Bearer's Pilgrimage, that tells of the burdens of being a gift bearer. The lessons contained within may prove valuable. Outside the Abbey, there's a mural that depicts phases of the tide as they watch over the ocean shore. The mural is a quadriptych, and each section is labeled Anthu, Saman, Disaman, and Dianthu. We read those already. I didn't realize that we got something added to our journal after we read them, though. The Orochian calendar, Moons of Aora, Tides and Moons, a natural historian's account. We have all heard the legends of Andra and Senbalafa, and the explanation that the goddess's love for the moon causes the tides, and as men and women of science we know this but a shadow of the truth. Yet there is another myth that we have been quicker to dismiss, and I wonder if it does not merit further examination. Andrites tell of a smaller moon, Yoni Brather, and that the goddess supposedly pulled it from the sky in an early age. And while such a thing seems impossible, for Yoni Brather still roams the skies above, it is true that explorers in the far reaches have found mineral fragments that do not naturally occur in any known continent in Aora. Furthermore, naturalists in Adir, Rawatai, and the Deerwood have observed the remains of the ancient ocean life many miles inland. Such a thing would only be possible if Aora's oceans had once been larger, or, as I here propose, if a catastrophic flood had once washed over the continents. While few phenomena could cause the flood of this magnitude, a large body falling into the seas just might do the trick. In these pages I'll explain how some force of nature, if not an amorous goddess, could have pulled a small moon into Aora a millennia ago. So a second mention of a moon that crashed down to Earth. Abaddon's Hands. Okay, so these are books for Abaddon, Andra, and Dreamergond. So now I'm wondering, did Skane maybe side with Galawain? I can't remember. That's okay. I don't know if I'm going to remember that anytime soon. But we are closing in on an hour. So we have begun to explore the Halls of Presence on this Temple of the Fallen Moon with a bunch of Andrites. We were not able to sneak in stealthily, which means we've been getting in a lot of fights. And next session, which will be session 18, we will continue our exploration of the Abbey here. But thank you as always for joining me. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. I'd love to hear from you, and I will hopefully see you again in the next session. Bye, everybody.